Hi guys, welcome back. So in the last one we stopped at finishing up doing some things with slope-intercept form. Now we're going to do some more applications of those. So we have to make these equations that are in what we call point-slope form, we want to turn them into slope-intercept form. Well, remember that slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So what we want to do is distribute, so keep your y minus 3 equals negative 2 over 3x minus 2 over 3. Alright, so we want to get y all by itself, so we're going to add 3, and we're going to get y is equal to negative 2 over 3x, because though this 3 can't be added to that because it's not like terms, but it can add to this because those two are both constants and like terms, so plus 7 over 3. So that's our final answer for that one. Alright, let's try another one. So, remember our goal is y equals mx plus b. We're going to go ahead and distribute here. And we're going to get negative 3x minus 6. Keep our y plus 2 because it hasn't went anywhere. We're going to subtract 2 on both sides. Y equals negative 3x. Negative 6 minus 2 is going to be negative 8. So boom, we did it. We got us our y-intercept form. That's really all there is to it when given one like this. Get it in that form where it is y all by itself. I'm not going to work out the show you're learning, but if you ever want to see those, of course they are in class for you to look at in our binder. Let's talk about a real world situation. And of course I had to print another one, so this is actually in color, unlike what our printer usually gives us. So, again, I'm doing this from home, so I don't really have my awesome colors that I usually do. At least not in highlighter form. So let's read. Allie received a gift card for her local coffee shop. Every time she goes to the shop, she gets a medium coffee. Highlight that medium there. The graph shows the gift card balance at 2 points. How can Allie determine the number of medium coffees she can buy with the gift card if she doesn't know the original value? Alrighty. So let's talk about this a bit. It's going to take a little time, but hey guys, all the best ones do. So let's look at these points that we're given. We've got 2 and 19.7. We've got 4 and 14.4. So what does this mean? Well, notice that the x-axis has the number of coffees, the y-axis has the gift card balance. So this means after 2 cups, she has 1970 remaining. So that means this one tells us after 4 cups, she has 1440 remaining. Remember our formula is y equals mx plus b. Yay! So the slope is going to tell us the price of 1 cup. So and that's what we need to find. Well, how can we find the slope? Well, we're given 2 points, which means we can use our slope formula, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And so we're just going to go ahead and plug that in. Well, let's do 19.7 as our y1. Y2 would be 14.4, all of 2 minus 4. We're going to get negative 2.65. So it's $2, and 1 cup costs $2.65. Why is it decreasing? Well, it's decreasing because it's negative. Or it's negative because it's decreasing the number on the card. Alright, so we figured that out. Now we need to figure out the line. We need to figure out the y-intercept. The y-intercept is going to tell us the original amount she had on the card. So let's do it. Well, remember y equals mx plus b is our formula. So I'm going to move that up. So we have our m. It's negative 2.65, and we have a point. We can choose either. I'm going to choose 2 and 19.7. So 19.7 is our y. Our m is negative 2.65. And our b, and our x, totally skipped the x at first, is 19.7 plus b. So, see, you guys can tell I'm getting tired. 2. We plug in our x, y, m. So, negative 2.65 times 2 should give us negative 5.3 plus b. And we have our 19.7. In order to get our b by itself, we need to add our 5.3. So we're going to end up with 25 equals b. So this means she had $25 from the start. Okay, so we did a lot of work here, but did that answer our problem? No. She wants to know how many coffees she can get. So, how do we figure that out? Well, we know if she has so how many coffees? Well, we know that she has $25. And we know that each cup of coffee is $2.65. So if we just divide that, we'll see that she can get 9 cups with her card. Again, super sorry about my nail issues doing this pretty while I'm sick, but I wanted to get this uploaded for those who might need it. Alright. Usually I would say we're going to skip this here. So I'm not going to do all of it, but I am going to explain that if we have it in slope-intercept form, we already did that. That's y equals, well, let's write it. We found the m, we found the b, so our slope-intercept form would be y equals negative 2.65x plus 25. In order to figure out the x-intercept, which is where the line touches the x-axis, we would have to set our y equal to 0. If you solved for x, you would get that x equals 9. Notice the x-intercept will tell us exactly how many cups you can get. So when you're given a situation where your x and y-axis mean something, the x-intercept is going to tell you the medium cups of coffee she can buy when this is 0. The y-intercept is going to tell you when we have 0, here's how much money you have. So knowing your x and y-intercepts in terms of your situation can be very important. And like I said, to get the way that we work this out, you can always look at the notes thing. Alrighty. So in class, we did a brain dump saying, what do you know about parallel and perpendicular lines? And a lot of people said parallel lines are going to be, they don't touch. They look like that, never touch. And a lot of people said that perpendicular lines have a right angle, and they are absolutely right with that. So, let's talk about our vocab review. Well, for lines, this is a straight, and this is your book definition. Path that extends through 2 points in both directions. So if you have 2 points, point 1, point 2, then you have a line is a path, as you see, that goes through both, in both directions. Let's talk about, these are 2 lines that lie in the same plane, but never intersect. So if you had a set of parallel lines, they'd look like this. They both go on forever, but they're never going to touch one another. Finally, perpendicular lines are 2 lines that intersect. If you hear my cat PJ exploring a new box that he's found, I apologize. To form right angles. So if we have an example of that, well, here's one, and here's one. It was pointed out in class that the coordinate plane itself is a set of perpendicular lines, and they were absolutely correct in that assumption. Alrighty. So these are the definitions we need to know to see what to do with parallel and perpendicular lines. So, what are the equations of these 2 lines? Well, let's label this line A and this line B. Well, to find the equation of A, remember we want it in, both of our equations should be in y equals mx plus b form. So, B is going to equal where it touches the line, the y-axis. Well, that's at 2. Our M is going to be our rise over run. So we need to pick another point on this line. I'm going to go here. So we're going to go up 1, 2. So 2 over 1, 2, 3. 3. So it's our 2 over 3, and because I forgot to write it, this is rise over run. So our equation is y equals 2 over 3x plus 2. That's for A. Now let's take a look at B. Well, our B is where it touches the y-axis, so that's pretty easy. We can find that there. So our B is -1. Our M is our rise over run. PJ, calm down. And so we need to pick another point. So let's pick this point. So we go up 1, 2. To the right, 1, 2, 3. And we get that. So our formula is y equals 2 over 3x plus 2. So the slopes of parallel lines, what do we notice about them? Well, this is the slope in line B, and I'm going to grab a different color. And this is the slope in line A. The slopes of parallel lines are always the same. So if you are looking at parallel lines and you find the slope of one, you have already found the slope of the other. You've got it. So, whoop, super sorry about that. What's the equation of the line parallel to this and goes through point 89? Well, we know our formula, y equals mx plus b. We know our m, so let me explain to you, we don't care about this. When we say parallel, we care about the slope. We know that it has to have the same slope, so that's our slope. And then it gives us the point, 8, 9, which means this is our x and this is our y. Now, we just plug in what we know and solve. So this is 9 equals 3 over 4 times 8 plus b. We've done this plenty of times in our time working with our lines so far. So 3 over 4 times 8 is going to give us 6. Thank you, handy dandy calculator. -6, -6, pop, pop. 3 is equal to b. So now that we know that, we can do our final answer. Y equals 3 over 4x. It should be the same as the one we started with, right? And then plus 3. All right. I am not going to work out the show your learnings for this one. If you need to see them, I will happily let you look at them from the thing. Try it out yourself, see what's going on there. But it should be similar. Remember that the slopes have to be the same. Let's talk about perpendicular lines. So let's label our lines. Let's label this one A and this one B. Then for A, let's talk about it. Remember, we want our lines to be in the form y equals mx plus b. So our B is where it touches the y-axis, so it touches it at -2. Pretty easy to find. Our M is rise over run. So let's pick a point that we know is pretty clear on our point. Let's pick this little guy. Then we're going to go up. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is 3 over 4. So our equation is y equals 3 over 4x minus 2. Let's talk about B. Well, first things first, where does it touch the y-axis? Right there at 5. Then our M is our rise over run. So we need to pick another point. Let's pick this point right here. So we're going to go down 1. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Since we went down, it's negative over 1, 2, 3. 3. So -4 over 3. Okay, so then our formula is y equals -4 over 3x plus 5. Again, sorry for my nose and nasal issues. So let's take a look at our slopes. And what do we notice about them? The slopes of perpendicular lines are what we call opposite reciprocals. We call this flip and change. So it flips it. If it's a fraction, it flips it up and it changes the sign. This one's positive, that one's negative. So I do want to give a couple of examples here. What if I had -2? Well, then the opposite reciprocal would be 1 over 2 positive. What if I had a 3? Then the opposite reciprocal would be 1 over 3 negative. And then vice versa, if you have 1/7, then it's -7. And so forth. But this is what I mean when I say opposite reciprocal. Flip it and change the sign. If they're just numbers, then think of it as over 1, and flip it. Alrighty. On the back here, we have an equation of a line that is perpendicular to y equals -1/4 x plus 11, and it goes through that point. So remember our rules. We want a line that's perpendicular, which means we have opposite reciprocal slope. We don't care about this part. We only care about the slope. So our -1/4, so I'm going to put op recip. Our -1 over 4 becomes +4. So m is 4. Okay, well, it gave us an x and it gave us a y. So mx and y means that we know what we need to do. Y is 7. m is 4, x is 1 plus b. Then we have 7 equals 4 plus b. Then we subtract 4 on both sides, and we get 3 equals b. So y equals 4x plus 3. So whenever it's perpendicular, make sure your slope is opposite. Flip and change signs. I'm not going to work these out for you, but if you need them, of course, they'll be in the classroom for you. So let's talk next about comparing and contrasting parallel lines. We're going to go through each of these, but I'm not going to make you write all that. That'd be crazy. So let's label these A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. Alright, and then whatever they are, we'll put them in our group. So, a vertical line and a horizontal line. Well, if we have a vertical line and a horizontal line, that's going to look a little bit like this. Vertical, horizontal. So they're going to create a perpendicular line. So it'll go there. Lines that intersect to form right angles. Well, in the definition of a perpendicular line, it is two that make right angles. So B would go here. Two non-vertical lines that have a product of -1 for their slopes. This means both slopes are -1. Since both slopes are -1 and they have the same slope, it would have to be parallel lines because they have the same slope. Equations can be written in slope-intercept form. This is going to be in the middle for our both. We can write this one and this one in slope-intercept form. Non-vertical lines, same slope, but different y-intercepts. Same slope tells us that it's got to be parallel. You can determine the relationship between two lines by comparing their slopes and y-intercepts. That's going to be both, because if it's the same, it'll tell you parallel. If they're opposite reciprocal, it'll tell you perpendicular. Lines in the same plane that never intersect. So remember, if they never intersect, that's actually the definition of perpendicular. So our never intersect tells us it goes here. Alright, H. Slopes that are opposite reciprocals. Well, as stated, we know exactly what that is. That's perpendicular. And then vertical lines that have different x-intercepts. So what that means is, here's our axis, here's a vertical line, there's a vertical line. These two lines are going to be parallel. So, Alrighty. So does it make sense how we were able to do that? So something they could do with you on your EOC is they could easily ask you which of the following statements is true, and it could say this is a perpendicular line, and you could be like false, or anything like that. So knowing and understanding the concepts behind the mathematics is also very important. Alright. Another thing they could ask you to do is classify lines. So it says, are the graphs of the equations, so they give you two, parallel, perpendicular, or neither? Well, always, here's the first step. Get in y equals mx plus b form. Always. If it's not in that form, then you can't compare them. So look at this. This one is not in y equals mx plus b form. So let's start by doing that. 3y equals -4x plus 6. If we were just to look at the -4, it wouldn't be the correct slope because this isn't y by itself. So let's get rid of our 3. Now we have y equals -4 over 3x plus 2. Now that they're both in y equals form, we can look at our slopes. Well, they're not the same, so we can kick out parallel, but notice that while it's flipped, the sign hasn't changed, so neither. Because no same slope, and not recip. It has to be both opposite and a reciprocal. Flip and change the sign. Alright, look at this next one. Are the graphs of these equations parallel, perpendicular, and either? So they made this one easy. The y is all by itself, the y is all by itself. Great, we checked that. Now we just need to look at our slopes. Well, in this case, they're going to be parallel because same slopes. Alrighty. Are the graphs of the equations y equals 5x plus 2 and y equals negative 1/5 x minus 9 parallel, perpendicular, and either? So here's where I have to say they're already y equals. Make sure they're always got the y by itself first. Then compare. Well, in this case, I would say they're perpendicular because we have opposite reciprocal slopes. 5 is in fact 1/5 negative as an opposite reciprocal. I'm not going to work these guys out for you, but I do want to say that with the first one, you're good. You don't have to change anything. With the second one, this is in standard form, meaning you need to get this y by itself before you compare. On the back here, you're going to see this equation. When it printed in black and white, it was very hard to see. So we decided as a class in all three to just kick it out. So we're kicking it out. Alright, that's all I got for you in this one. I hope this helped you out if you're coming back just to see it. And if you're absent, I hope this helps you understand a little bit better. If you need more help, please come see me. Have a great day, guys. Goodbye.